most of you know me, and I'm the chapbook. I'm the chapbook. That is the mood right there. I am the chapbook, which it talks about messy relationships. This event is going to be off the chain, and probably only a couple people who know me know how off the chain it potentially could be. If you don't know me really well, don't worry. I will be very kind to you, but that's how we're starting. I am the chapbook. So I am the author of the chapbook Aliens, which is about relationships in all of its various forms. It's really about love, and it covers love among friends, among mentors, among exes, ex-husbands. And what I found out writing the book is that these poems all sound the same, because to me, I'm a person of very deep feeling, and love is the same across all kinds of people. So I'm also the author of the forthcoming poetry collection, Black Mestiza, from University Press of Kentucky. I was fortunate enough to win the University Press of Kentucky's new poetry and prose series for 2023 in poetry. My work has most recently appeared in Stone Coast Review, Cutbank Literary Journal, and is forthcoming in Literary Mama on November 1st. I teach creative writing in South Florida, where I live with my son and too many pets. I spent my teenage years in Brooklyn, and I was born on the Caribbean island of Barbados. So now I will introduce our first reader, who is well known to most of us. It is Richard Blanco. Richard Blanco was the 5th presidential inaugurate poet in US history, selected by President Barack Obama. In 2023, Richard was awarded the National Humanities Medal by President Biden from the National Endowment for the Humanities. His most recent book, Homeland of My Body, is forthcoming October 24th and is available for pre-order on Books and Books website. One of the poems in that new collection, Why I Need To, is just an extraordinary poem that I've never gotten over. His other poetry collections are How to Love a Country, Looking for the Gulf Motel, Directions to the Beach of the Dead, and City of 100 Fires. He has also authored 2 memoirs. In April 2022, Richard was appointed the first ever Poet Laureate of Miami-Dade County, and he's associate professor at Florida International University. You can find him online at richard.blanco.com. And before you get started, Richard, I want to share a couple things about him. You know, when you have a resume like that, it can be very intimidating. And the way that I describe Richard is that he's very kind and gracious. When I was first in his class, it was a literature class, and I wrote 2 poems, and I was so desperate to impress him, and I overwrote these poems, and I just put as many words as I possibly could in these poems. And I gave them to him, and you know, he gave me productive feedback on them. And you know, when I look back at the poems, each one was more horrible than the next one. They were horrors, because I was struggling so hard to impress him, and he was so kind about it. And the next time I saw him, he said, and I was really embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, those poems. So when I saw him the next time, he said, you should really apply for Cave Canem, which is a prestigious fellowship for Black poets. And I was thinking, Richard, have you seen my poems? And, you know, I thought, oh, I think Richard Blanco sees something in me. Oh my goodness, yes. But you know what? Thinking back on it, I don't think he saw something in me. I think what he was doing was what he does for all of his students, that he was encouraging me to get my craft together and swing for the fences. And I've seen him do that for countless students. And, you know, it might just have been a comment that he said that day in passing and he didn't really think about. But I took that comment and I tucked it in my pocket and I kept it. And I worked on my craft really hard. And when I was ready, I swung for the fences. And I still live my career based on what he said to me that day. So I want to thank you, Richard, for that moment. And I don't know, I might have told you about it already, but you know, when you decide to be kind to someone, you don't really know what that can mean to them. And it really meant a lot to me. So with all of that,
Well,
there's
thank you.
Richard Blanco.
Thank you, Al. Thanks for that. Like that wonderful kindness. But I guess now since I'm the first reader, I just want to take a moment also you have swung for the fences and to congratulate you and all your commitment, your hard work. We've been through part of this together, and it's exemplary. And here we are. So congratulations on this book and the one forthcoming. Yes. All
Thank
right.
you.
For you, after Ada Limon, sorry, Ada Limon, as she likes to be called. There is a time in the Pantheon, the time before quasars, the time before penumbras were invented, the time before souls when we were twins, clung together, brothers, sisters, who knows, but one skin, one gossamer bubble of thread, dark eye to dark eye. The residue adheres sticky filaments on the wing. It arrows, it minnows, stretches, thin as mylar. It is the most tapered kind of affection.
Thank you so much, Richard. Now, who arranged this lineup to let him go first? Because now everybody's intimidated. Oh, yeah, it was me.
Well, it's the first poem in the book, so I thought, but wonderful gateway poem, by the way, too.
He's coming with the criticism.
ever the professor. No, yeah, great first poem for the book.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, Richard. Um, so our next reader is incredibly accomplished as well. It is the lovely and wonderful Nicole Tallman. Nicole is a poet, writer, and editor. She was born and raised in Michigan. She lives in Miami and serves as the official poetry ambassador of Miami-Dade County. She's editor of Redacted Books, Poetry, and interviews editor for the Blue Mountain Review, and associate editor for South Florida Poetry Journal. She is the author of Something Kindred and Poems for the People from the Southern Collective Experience, SCE Press. Her next book, Versace, is forthcoming in November 2023 from ELJ Editions. She's also the creator and host of ELJ Editions / Redacted Books Be Well reading series and the Lunchtime Poetry and Jazz series at Miami-Dade County's main library. You can find her on social media at Nat Tallman and online at NicoleTallman.com. I have to say that Nicole does the wonderful work of amplifying other poets, and she invited me down to Miami-Dade Library to read, and that was really a wonderful experience. So now Nicole will be reading Alien poem number 10, and I should mention that the book Aliens is named after my first husband, whose nickname was Alien. And I used his name as a stand-in for all of us because we're all somehow struggling in, love's web. Nicole Tallman, everyone.
Thank you so much, Yael, for inviting me to read and being part of your amazing book launch. It's such an honor to be with all of these amazing friends and fans of yours. And if you don't have a copy of this book, I think, Yael, you should drop it in the chat because everyone needs a copy and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to read Alien Poem number 10, as Yael said. And there we go. Here it is. All right. Thank you so much. Alien Poem number 10. I didn't know my mother hated you, not because your nickname was Alien, not because you looked like Jesus, not because of your guitar-picked fingers. I said we were getting divorced. She said, good, he's an idiot. I have never known her to hold her tongue, not once. Didn't know she could. He's not. He's shy, I say. I defend you because that's what I do. We didn't make it, but that doesn't mean you aren't the best person I've met. Doesn't mean I still don't love you. Doesn't mean I won't defend you. What could I say? You were marrying the fool, she says. He was sweet, I say. He was from Vermont. He loved me how I couldn't love him back. My love turned brotherly and bitter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I love your reading, and it's really interesting to hear other people's intonations with the poem, that it brings something else out that for these poems that I know so well. And now we have Dr. Mark Kelly. So Mark Kelly earned his PhD from the University of California, San Diego. He is assistant professor of English at Florida International University. He's held fellowships from the Peabody Essex Museum, Mystic Seaport Museum, and the John Carter Brown Library, the University of Virginia, and the Library Company of Philadelphia. His book projects are Sentimental Seamen, Feeling Bodies in an American Age of Sail, and Pirates of Sympathy, Ocean Inheritances in Antebellum Domestic Culture Concerning Transoceanic Sentiments on Ship and Shore. Mark is also a twin. He is a husband, father of the adorable Remy. It is possible that he is as weird as I am. He has matched me weirdness for weirdness during our conversations. He is a Cancer and he feels all the feels. As I stated before, he has a wonderful reading voice that comes from recording many, many hours of online lectures for his classes. Here is Mark Kelly reading Alien Poem number 12.
Thanks, Al. I consider that to be a great compliment, matching you weird for weird. It's a life goal. You are the best person I have met. Not the strongest, but the best. The worst thing you ever did, I made you do. Drunk off our asses atop a 10-story apartment roof in Brooklyn. I command you to climb down the fire escape, steal a tiny barbecue grill. I see below. Game. You climb down, you call up. I can't make it up with the grill. Do it, I slur. Don't come up here with without that fucking grill. I, confident in your athleticism, you return with the grill. Our triumph, our token, our coup. You could have died 10 stories up, jumping between fire escape and the roof ladder. You survived my drunken bullying. Maybe I'm the worst person I ever met. We take the tiny grill home. Is it really ours? We never use it. We giggle over it. Our triumph, our token, our coup. You are the best person I ever met. Not the strongest, but the best. I might be the worst person you have ever met. Am I your most dangerous ex? Would you be in danger if I reappeared? If I thought we could make it, I would take you back. Would you let me? I would storm into your new relationship, leave your girlfriend in shambles, fuck the feminist sisterhood. I would send her back to her mother, crying, back to her best friend, crying. Feminism means you need to be strong. So take it, and I'll take him. I have been that bitch, and I would have been that bitch again. I would have taken the karma, and I would have taken you. But we wouldn't have made it. So I let you alone. I let you alone.
Thank you so much, Mark. That is a hard poem to read, and I appreciate the reading. It's a hard poem to write, too. I have actually a degree in a master's degree in women's studies, and every time that poem is read, I think someone's going to appear and take my degree away for saying fuck feminism. But no one's appeared yet. Shh. Okay. Our next reader is Jane Hanson. Jane is coming all the way from Italy, where she shares amazing views of her life in Italy and her wonderful poems. She is the editor of the upcoming anthology from the Wee Sparrow Press called Goodbye. Now, I think this is 2 words. It's not just goodbye. So, Jane, let us know what the anthology is called. You're muted, hon.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, love.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's the Goodbye Anthology. Yeah, it's that's the name.
Okay, love it. Thank you. So, Jane's going to be reading Single Strand from Italy. What time is it there?
It's now nearly 9:30 at night, 9:30 p.m.
Thank you so much for joining us. Without
It's a
further
pleasure.
ado, here's Jane.
Thank you, Yael. Single strand. The pull of a smooth, single strand of hair beneath my watch strap reminds me of your coils I find coolly tangled in my fingers after you are gone. Yeah.
Did we lose her for a minute?
I can hear.
I don't know. Did you?
Okay. It might be me.
It was short. It was short. It was a wonderful poem.
Thank you so much, Jane.
It jumped out at me. It was a wonderful poem. It was typical Yael.
Aw, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you navigating the time difference for
No
for
problem.
me.
It's a pleasure. I just love the way that you capture a little detail and it creates a whole landscape.
Thank you. So next up we have Elisa Albo. And Elisa, I have done you a disservice because in the power outage kerfuffle, your bio was chewed up by Word, not saving it. But wait, I have your poetry book right here and your bio's on the back. So, haha, poetry outage, power outage. I have Elisa's bio.
Thank you.
Elisa Albo was born in Havana and grew up in Lakeland, Florida. Her poetry has appeared in journals and anthologies, including Crab Apple Orchard Review, the MacGuffin Poetry East, Tiger Tail, and South Florida Poetry Annual, and Irrepressible Appetites. She completed her BA at the University of Florida and her MFA at Florida International University, where she won the Academy of American Poets Graduate Awards. She teaches English, ESL, and creative writing at Broward Community College, where she is the Margaret and Cato Roach Endowed Teaching Chair for 2002 to 2005. She lives with her husband and daughters in Fort Lauderdale, and she has the most incredible oral history of her family from Turkey through Spain through Cuba. She's the author of 2 chapbooks, which are really wonderful. And after this this reading, I will create a page with everybody's links so that you can check out the really extraordinary readers. And now Elisa will watch.
Okay. Thank you, Yael.
The Most Dangerous Acts.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here with everyone. And that bio is a little bit older, but it's still mostly true. So good job. But I'm happy to be here and to be here for your launch. It's wonderful. The Most Dangerous Ex. They look like brothers, Alan, whose nickname is Alien, and Erik, whose nickname is E. Erik sent me a picture of himself that looks nothing like him. I meet him sitting in a downtown Fort Lauderdale bar, looking at me with Alien's face through E's brown eyes instead of Alan's blue. There are differences. E is taller. Alien has perfect teeth. E is 14 years younger, but 90% of them is the same. Twins, same body, same hair, almost the same face. It's frightening. E, the dangerous one. We together mere months. Alan and I together for 7 years. I drive away from E's, rubber spewing gravel, to countermand his drinking, his cocaine dipshits all over the house. But when E calls me 2 years hence, then 5 years hence, my heart swivels. I strain to resist him. Why? He is terrible. It's not because he reminds me of Alien. Maybe Alien reminds me of him. It's not because he's an ass. My phone is full of asshole exes. I don't bother to text back. There's sticky stardust between us, stretching like albumin, binding us in a galaxy we have forgotten. The adult in me resists him admirably, while the brat in me wants only to lick him like a lollipop. You wouldn't know how hard her adult heart beats, how her skin prickles when he puts his hand on her lower back when she has lunch with E without telling her then current, now recently ex-boyfriend. E is the hook, and I am the latch. This is the crux. Do you know what will happen? Have you ever fallen on sea-slicked rocks? Let the ocean take you. Watch the safety of shore slide away. Maybe that's why he keeps coming back, like a turtle that returns to the beach where she was born.
Thank you so much, Elisa. That's another tough poem to read. Some poems are very lyrical and they have a certain type of rhythm that they're easier to read. And some poems have a more jerky and a staccato rhythm, which that poem does. So it's difficult. So I so appreciate that reading.
My pleasure.
And thank you. So now I'm going to attempt to do technological things with Zoom. Julie is not here in person, Julie Marie Wade. but she has sent me a video of her reading her poem. And actually, this poem, on first glance, appears to be a very romantic poem. But if you think about it, it's really not. And it's about her mentorship and the love that she has for me as a mentor when she came to my aid during a very unpleasant experience. So let me read Julie's bio. Julie Marie Wade is the author of 16 volumes of poetry, prose, and hybrid forms, including the newly released lyric essay Chapbook Few, an oral history, and Otherwise, which is going to be officially published tomorrow. It's a collection of lyric essays selected by Leah Pupura and was the winner of the 2022 Autumn House Nonfiction Book Prize. She's a winner of Marie Alexander's Poetry Series and the Lambada Literary Award for Lesbian Memoir, and a recipient of grants from the Kentucky Arts Council and the Barbara Deming Memorial Fund. Julie has taught creative writing at Florida International University since 2012. She lives with her spouse, Angie Griffin, and their 2 cats in Dania Beach. So she will be reading To Watch Her Face Fall. Okay. Can you guys hear?
Oh,
No.
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 So when you share, do you click also, I don't know, on include sound? Sometimes there's something for
Yeah,
that.
because when I tested it yesterday with my son, it was fine. Okay, let me try that. Let's try again. Okay, I apologize because I tested this with my son yesterday and it was fine.
That's okay. You want to read it for us?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Thank you for rescuing me from my kerfuffle. Okay. To watch her face fall. I am wounded. My washy thin skin darkens with blood, frayed, open, flesh ragged at the edges. I don't want to tell her, to show her, but she will ask. I can bear it alone, the weight of this upset. Knit the lesion back together before I see her. Continue the interlacing of fascia after I see her. Conceal the bruise, the sliced skin, but she will ask. I harrow, then sear, watching her face crest and fall. watching her shining shadow. If only for a few minutes, till her face brightens, till her mouth dances to distract from my harm. Our love is this silent chafing. Bodily harm becomes invisible shadowing, barely darkened imperfections, a closing over that will smooth, return to unblemished perfection to all eyes but ours. Only us aware of the slight scar, lightly covered in hair, smoothing over her face that fell. She cannot forgive because it was me. I cannot forgive because it was her face that fell. She wants to go back, soothe with words as slim as apple chips, soothe with her rhythmic voice that rises and falls in waves. Our faces slick over, leaving only slight sharpening in the corners of the shields of our eyes. Squinting, glinting black metal, she will say it's all right and not mean it. I will agree and not mean it. We will put our glossy heads together, draft new plans for unnamed streets. She will hold my hand tighter, which is the only good bit, until I'm ready to leave the hearth of her protection, sheathed in armor. We will temper anew.
Bravo.
Thank you. And thanks for helping me to navigate that snafu. I guess too bad for the videos I have. Okay. Next we have the wonderful Clayre Benzadón, who forgave me for butchering her beautiful last name in my promo image. And because of how Instagram is set up, I could not fix it. Clayre is a local Miami poet. She graduated from the University of Miami, the creative writing program, which is highly selective. I mean, they could have like a cohort of 3. She is an absolutely stunning poet. She pairs her words down in her poetry so precisely, and they're so weighted against each other that whenever I read her work, it stays with me and I have to think about it, and it inspires me to become a better poet. So I'm so pleased to have her here. She will be reading Miami Map.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Oh, I'm touched, honestly. All right, so I'm going to be reading Miami Map. And again, this is just a promo. If you haven't already bought your copy, please do. All right, Miami Map. I know what is going on. He sends me a picture shirtless lying on his bed. I see his farmer's tan. Haven't seen him in 4 years. My most dangerous ex. His eyes, bottom of the river brown, reflecting almost no light. Eyebrows, thick, sabled slashes towards these eyes. Here is where you die on his altar. I meet him at the taco place on 25th Street and 2nd Ave. I know what's going on. He leans against me, looking up at the menu, deciding what to order. Burrito de pollo, taco de camarones. His hand is already between my shoulders. I read him a poem I have written. When I say how her skin prickles when he puts his hand on her lower back, he moves his hand to my lower back, meta on meta. I know what is going on when he easily threads his dry, smooth fingers between mine in Margaret Peace Park. We kiss on the corner at Northeast 17th Street in North Miami Ave, waiting for the light to change. His tongue feels like velvet and tastes like cigarettes, a flavor I like from my Brooklyn youth. His purple Congol hat falls down his back and into my hand. He says my mouth tastes like cocoa matcha ice cream. The light from the street lamp plays in his eyes. They are a clear sparrow brown.
Thank you so much. That's another poem that's not the easiest to read, so I appreciate that, Clayre. And I do love to say her name, Clayre. I don't know where that's from, but thank you. And now we have the indomitable Lynne Barrett. Now, she sent me this microbio. Really, Lynn? I'm gonna like punch it up a little bit. Okay, Lynne Barrett has the energy of at least 3 people put together. She claims that she had even more energy when she was younger, which just frightens me. I have never seen such a tornado of ideas and enthusiasm and energy. She is the advisor, the graduate advisor over at the creative writing program at Florida International University. She is rescuing all of us from ourselves. And since I'm doing the unauthorized bio of Lynne, I'll just say that, you know, for some reason, a lot of people underestimate me. I don't know why that is. Have you met me? But Lynne did not. There was some kind of snafu, it's financial snafu at school. It was kind of like in the middle of some administrative nonsense. And I don't know what happened. It was like Lynne saw who I was. And from that moment, she was like, okay, you take this here, get an agent, go. What are you doing? Go, 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 go. What are you doing? What are you doing? Go. And at times I would say, calm down, Lynne, everything is fine. And this is the reaction she gives when I do have an accomplishment. And, you know, she's one of the first people that I tell is one of my mentors. You know, I'll say, oh, Lynne, I'm so excited. You know, my poetry collection is being published by the University Press of Kentucky. And she'll say, great, that's congratulations. What are you doing with all of that fiction? What about that memoir? What's happening there? And what about that novella? What's going on there? And I'm like, Lynne, give me a break. Give me a minute. And she says, okay, no problem. But what are you doing about all that stuff? And honestly, I appreciate that because I'm someone that can be pushed. So I'll just add to my little plan and I'll stick in there, look for more agents, send out more stuff. So I appreciate that. So now this is the official short bio. Lynne Barrett's third story collection, Magpies, received the Florida Book Awards Fiction Gold Medal. And she's the editor of Making Good Time, True Stories of How We Do and Don't Get Around in South Florida. She received an Edgar Award for Best Mystery Short and teaches creative writing at Florida International University. And now, Lynne Barrett will read Mud and River.
I am unmuting. Tell me that you can hear me. Yes. Well, I was trying to keep it short because you got a lot of readers. So I will say that the fact that I'm a nag is a strange thing to be praised for. That's all I say. I'm reading Mud and the River, and I printed it bigger so I could hold it closer so I could see it. Mud and the River. When we find space, we will merge together like mud and water, river and sea. We have started already, sliding against each other like minnows, scales rubbing. There is a catch, a hitch, a pause. We have nowhere to go. He is evicting his roommate, who is stubbornly squatting. My living room is my bedroom. My 16-year-old son wandering in sees what I'm doing. We are furtive, grasping at mouths like goldfish for air. His hands find my skin through the cracks of my clothes. He's a good croucher. He is 8 inches taller than me, but he bends, scooches, and adjusts so I can feel the growing mound of his desire against my pubis. I am a cleft, a maw, an inverted tube of muscle and gristle that wraps around his skin like the asp I am to his viper. We always did this part well, the slipping and sliding of bodies. Once we slept on a single mattress, the undulating sinew, 2 adult bodies wound around each other as one. I don't know how we managed it. Hopefully, he won't turn into that asshole. Hopefully, I won't turn into a needy bitch. We are that irritating couple on the street swapping spit. My mom used to yell, "Get a room." We have no room to go to. We wait, we will wait, grinding our way around the periphery of what is decent. We can wait. We can wait. We can wait. We have waited 5 years to get this shit right.
Thank you so much, Lynn. That's another poem that's not very easy to read. Now we come to one of the favorite poems in the book. It's I say gazelle, you say guzzle. It is called Dick Gazelle and will be read by Mark Kelly. You're muted, Mark.
Well, do it better the next time. I'll try and do this justice. Would I like to come down for some tea and a side of dick? You don't say and a side of dick, but I know you mean tea with a side of dick. This is why you asked me to your house, for adventures with that dick. I should say no. Thursday would be better for a bit of dick. But I won't. I never say no to you, especially with a side of dick. I'll drive over to drink the tea you make for me, Ayurvedic loose leaf and roasted green tea with that side of dick. It's not really a side of dick. I also call it fucking, to act like I don't care about you, the sex, and your dick. But I do care. It's not a fuck with a side of dick. It's synergy manifested as a synchronic singularity with a side of dick.
Thank you so much.
I brought the asexual professor energy to it.
That's why it's so good, because you read it like a newscaster and I love it. That is a tough poem to read, especially because, you know, you want to have a little bit more fun in the reading because of the subject.
No, I really don't.
Stop. But the way Mark reads it, I think is very effective because it has to have a certain detachment to be read, because it's such an in-your-face poem subject wise. So I really appreciate that reading. And this is there was 3 people supposed to read this poem, and it just all kinds of things happen, and
the dick just fell in my lap. Sometimes that happens.
Really, as an asexual person, that's what you're saying?
College is weird sometimes, isn't it?
I cannot. But that is a wonderful reading, and it is ironically, it is one of Julie Marie Wade's favorite poems that I've written. So now we have another pinch hitter, And Clayre will read Turgid Maw. And the way I wrote this poem, it was really important not to have the poems be all heteronormative, that is like tilting to a heterosexual experience, chiefly because I am a bisexual woman as well, but I think that it's important for people to see themselves in what they read. So that was my goal with this poem, which actually Lynne and I got into a discussion about the meaning of turgid and what does turgid mean. And turgid is kind of like a bit like a tough, something that's a little bit tough, not very yielding. So Clayre will read Turgid Maw. Thank you.
Turgid maw, curved maw, cleft, liquid moist opening, moisture, soft, now hard, turgid, now pushing into petal, soft and tacky like taffy, yielding inverted snake of muscle, pulsing, gripping, clenching, unclenched skin, sheens like sweat hair. Some short, some long, browner bits, lighter bits, parted, moist and meeting, tasting, touching, probing, proboscis, blushed and bumpy, a flushed red velvet cake inside after the chest rises slowly, falls slower, the mystery of morning awaits.
Thank you, Clayre. That was a beautiful reading of
Love that poem.
Thank you.
Fun one.
So now we have the man of the hour. Erik B. Ebright will be reading, and I want to talk about Erik for a little bit. Erik and our relationship was very difficult. First of all, I want to thank him for living far apart from me for the last 2 years, because we probably would have gotten back together and broken back up 2 more times at least. And it was the kinds of breakups that left a lot of pain. And I was in this state where I would even hear the name Erik and I would just feel like a stabbing pain in my heart. I didn't want to hear anybody named Erik, any kind of vague, anything Erik. And the reason why we're now friends is because he worked really hard on it. And the first time he apologized to me, I sneered at him. And I said, "Oh, is it on your list of things to do for your therapy? Go through your little list and apologize to people." And he said, "No." And I hope that everybody has the opportunity to receive a sincere apology and have the mindset to accept it. And it was really him that fostered our friendship and worked hard and consistently for us to be friends. More than anybody I've known, he's worked so hard on himself. And because of his work, and he showed me what someone can do when they're determined, I know now never to count anybody out, because anybody can decide to change their lives at any point. And there was a time where we were in Miami on a little dinky street, and I said to him, "You know, my life's dream is to have a national charity that brings the arts to people that have lost access to it through school or whatnot." He looked at me, he said, "You know what? I believe in you. I think you can do it." And he and I are currently working on some projects to bring the arts to people. Now, Erik is a world traveler. He is most recently lived in Miami, Ohio, Hawaii, and he is living in Puerto Rico. He's a graduate from Pratt Institute of the Arts in New York, which is a very difficult school to get into. He is a graphic designer and web programmer. He defines himself as everybody's brother. And I think his primary goal in life is to help other people. So Erik will be reading 2 poems that come right after each other. I Am the X and The Necromancer Returns in Distress. Take it away, Erik.
All right. Grateful to be here, y'all. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Yes, here we go. I am the X. I am no longer the X. What would she call me? The man? Her man? Erik Bipolar 1? Suppose we are not bound together like chain. Suppose we are the chain. This is why I forgave her for slapping the glasses off my face, breaking them. That's why she forgave me for moving another woman into the house in front of her face. It's the bipolar babe. Did she forgive me? Is that forgivable? I grazed on beer all day like Cheetos. It's the bipolar babe. I am the asshole. I was the asshole. I was off my face. I loved the beer and Cheetos. I was the bipolar babe. She wanted things from me I couldn't give, didn't want to give. I wanted to break her for pushing me, and I did. It was the bipolar babe. I knew she would stand there and take it until she did. Until she didn't. I wanted her, even when I couldn't stand her. My fingers whirl, crave her skin. I came back. It's okay. She was with some guy. I was still off my ass. I would have fucked it up with the beer and Cheetos and the bipolar. I came back. I come back. I came back again. Doesn't that mean that I can love her? I will fuck it up. No more beer and Cheetos on my meds 4 years straight. We are the chain. 3rd time together. I fucked it up. All right. The necromancer returns in distress. I have never made love for comfort before. My clothes come off like wet tissue in your hands. The soulmate fire gone. Slim hips to slim hips. Love still. Your voice vibrates hummingbirds in my ear. I laugh. We look like we are in love. We are not. But we still love. We love still. I don't want to go to the late night barbecue place. I go. Your hand warm, low on my back. We have never been so easy. Our knives sheathed. Dawn's tangerine clouds bring a new month. I watch you drive away in your blood orange SUV, free. I walk under the pink plumeria tree to my yellow door, free, love still. You're muted, darling.
Ah, how could I do that? Thank you for that reading, Erik, and thank you so much for having the vulnerability to read that for us. Those poems are really interesting because they're sort of the juxtaposition of the relationship, the relationship ending and then coming to a peaceful resolution for a really difficult relationship. And like I said, it's really been all him, and that's fostered the friendship between us. And to close out the day, I am going to read my first successful cento called Stay With Me. I don't know if you are familiar with the writer Leah Purpura. She writes many extraordinary lyric essays, and I find her language incredible and magical. And for those that don't know, acento is a poetic form where you take all of another writer's or poet's words and put it together to make a new work. And I've not been very good at it. I've tried it many times and failed many times. And the one note I do want to mention is that stay with me is not a romantic stay with me. It means stay with me on the planet, stay with me, be safe, stay with me in life. Stay with me, Alia Pupuracento. In this way, I begin to speak to him, slant and sidelong. It traveled jittery over the wrinkles of his forehead. Stay with me. Events will fit themselves to themselves. Stay with me. Something alighting, something bestowing. Was I awaiting some sign of passage? Did I expect finally the solemnity of procession, the strains of ceremony? Not the hair braided by some woman's hands, her knuckles hard against his head, death gowned and dancing. Stay with me. I live days as a crouch, everything cropped, in focus, contained, naked, looked through and turned inside out and found lacking. How? Even as I twisted free, I wanted to be caught. No, the dip of bone, the hammock of skin. How? What seems in the end inevitable is a trail of particulars finding each other. The tiny stiff hairs that made nets to catch me. Thank you. So that's not in this book, obviously. It's going to be in my forthcoming book. So I want to thank everyone so much for coming. I will compile this wonderful recording and upload it to YouTube so that we can all enjoy it for posterity. And I am going to make a page on my website within the next day with links to what everyone is doing, my extraordinary readers. Thank you again for agreeing to share this time and space with me. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.